Hi everyone, this is Kelly, and this is our February card class. We are going to be using the flowering tulips, the tulip field stamps, and mostly stamps, not dies. This is the stamps and dies for flowering tulips, and then the coordinating designer series paper. So let's get started. Our first card is a beautiful card that uses the 3D. That was nice for me to crinkle that right next to you. The 3D tulips that are in the die set, along with the beautiful DSP and some a ribbon and these beautiful butterflies. I just love those butterflies. So I hope you like them as much as I do. I really think they're very cute. And so let's get started with our class. You should have a packet that is number 1. And if you pull that open, inside you will find, well, you'll have your envelope. You will have your card base. This card base is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. You should have a insert for the inside, and on the original card, this is what we did. We just stamped a tulip in there. And then you should have a piece of ribbon, a piece of designer series paper, a piece of vellum, and then a baggie with some items in it. Should have some butterflies, some leaves, some stems, and the circle for your sentiment, and then also the parts for your flowers. So I'm going to move most of this away, and we're going to start with building our flowers. And I used the designer series paper that you could get for free during celebration. You can still get this today. But these dies, usually you use 2 of these in one of them, but I just used 1 because I was trying to just keep it easy for everyone. And so this is 1, and you're going to fold it right on the fold, and then you are just going to adhere that. Now I use glue. And because I use the Marbleaceous paper, I've got some darks and different hues here. So this is one flower. Another flower is this one here. And again, we're just going to fold this. And then this one gets this little item in the middle. And it goes like, I think it goes like that. How did I do it? Let's see. Actually, I put this one in here. Oh gosh. Let me go back here. I put this little piece in there. Okay. Now you can flip it around if you want it to be darker. That's perfectly fine. Either way is good. This one I just sealed up, and it just looks like a little a bud. And then this last one, you fold it here and you fold it here, and so you've got your base of your tulip there, and then you just slide this on the inside. Now I turned it around, I believe, on mine, but it just depends which side you like, and I glue those all together. So let me get my glue. We have the Tombow glue, which for me comes out too fast, but it's really good glue. It has a longer time before it sets up, so you can manipulate things a little bit better. However, I use a different glue. I use an art glitter glue. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of this, and I'm going to put it right here in the middle of my one flower, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue here. You don't need a lot to get it to stick down. In fact, in this case, I didn't even get the glue where I needed it to be, so I'm going to put more glue on and move it over and just put that upside down so it can dry for a minute. This is very fast setting glue, so I'm going to put this here to just dry. Let's put this one together. It's pretty simple. That's the nice thing about these. They just go together so quick, and they make it look like you've done so much work and that you really, really know what you're doing. So that's all I do. It's nothing. It's not rocket science. It's just very, very simple. And come on, glue down. There we go. There we go. That one. And then the last one just gets glued down like that. And we are done with that making of the flowers. So that's the hardest part of the whole card right there. And it was very quick, very easy. I'm going to get out some stamps, and we're going to stamp the inside and stamp our envelope. You can see I've used these stamps a lot because of the coloration on there, and we're going to be using this one and this one for our flower today. And I used it looks like pink flamingo, and so let me get some stamps, some blocks. A block there, a block there, a flirty flamingo, and then I'm going to bring in just a scratch piece of paper. This is how I like to do scratch pieces of paper. I just leave them out to use all over the place. So for the inside of my card, I'm going to double stamp. So the first color is going to be the strongest color, and that one's just going to go down in the bottom like that. Now this looks kind of orange, but it'll pink up as it dries. And then the next part is the center, and I'm going to stamp it off in one spot, and I'm just going to line it up and go over it a second time. And there you go. So that fills it in. So that's one. And now we'll do our envelope real quick. I really like this set. It's really a lot of fun. It's I had a lot of fun just creating these cards. I kept coming up with more and more. So it made it kind of hard to stop, which I think is a good sign, if you ask me. If you don't want to stop using it, that's a stamp set you should probably own. And hopefully you're seeing this is a double stamp. I'm going to try to do this one in the middle of the camera for a change. I keep going too close to me so I can line things up. But in the middle here we go. First is the dark full amount of ink. Then I'm going to put the center in, stamp off, and then just line it up to fill in that center. And that is what we have. Now I must have used a polished pink instead of flirty flamingo, but it's okay. This has so many colors in it that, you know, it fits in with these right here. I think the other one was polished pink that I did on the original, but it doesn't matter. All is good. All is good. So let me just close this right quick. Okay, and we'll set this aside, and let's assemble our card. So the first thing we're going to do is put together the inside, because that's the simplest. So the inside, I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal, and I just kind of do one at the bottom, one at the top, and one diagonally. That seems to adhere everything pretty well. And because this card opens up to the top, we're going to put it in like this. Now this white piece of paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4. even though this is light, I like to put in a base card. That's just me. And this is also 4 inches by 5 1/4, your designer series paper. Now, if you don't want the flowers, you can certainly do the other side. Either way is good. I preferred the flowers because I wanted it to be like a field of flowers. So I thought that was kind of fun. And let's get this lined up on our card base. Okay, so then we have a piece of vellum, and usually things show through on vellum very easy. So what I try to do is I try to put it where I think it's not going to show in the finished card. Put my adhesive, and that's what we're going to do here. I know I can put a little bit up here. I can kind of do an X right in the middle, and I'm going to be fine. So let me do that real quick. I'm just going to put a little X. Well, maybe. Let's get this thing going again. Oh, it wants to be a sticker. A stinker, I should call it. Not a sticker, but a stinker. So I just put like an X in the middle. And that's usually enough to do what I need it to do. Now I just have to make sure I can see where that adhesive is. There we go. All right. So now I'm just going to put this equal distance around. I'm just going to adhere it. And you can sort of see where that adhesive is. But in a moment, it will all it'll disappear. Because we are going to be putting our flowers together in an arrangement here. Here's our other one. Where's our last one? Oh, did I lose it? Oh, it probably stuck to something. There it is. It stuck to my original card. So this is how I put them on. I just put the little one in the middle. And I adhered the flowers first, and I'm going to adhere them with a dimensional to give them some height. And each one of them will get one dimensional. I did not go too crazy on the dimensionals. I left enough room on the back for me to slide things underneath, which I felt was really important to give it just that flavor. Now, if you decide to do one tulip, that's perfectly fine. If you decide to do 10, to do two, do two. But I'm going to do 3 like the example. And all I did was just kind of go, okay, I want one up here looking like this. And then I want one in here, like right here. And it can go off the paper, off the vellum. I think that's what makes it look more like a real bouquet. And then this last one, we're just going to stick it here in the middle. Okay, so in your package you also got some stems and you got some leaves. You have 4 leaves. I chose to put in some leaves first and some stems. So this is how I did this. I decided that I wanted a leaf to go up into here. Okay, so I used glue. Glue for me was just easier. So I used glue. If you use, you can use dots. You can use a tape runner, but I chose to use glue. And then this last little one I put off to the side because I want it to look like there is, a whole tulip bush in here. Now, I did come in with this, and I gave it some glue in a couple of spots, and I adhered it down. And I'm going to do this one kind of coming in like this. Okay. And I just push it down. You don't need to put a ton of glue like all the way around it. You just need to put a little bit. Now this one in the middle does not need to be as long as it is, so I snipped it. I decided, okay, I don't want it much longer than that one. So maybe I'll just do it right about here. And I just snip off and pitch that. And then again, I just do a couple dots of glue. I don't get too crazy with it because it's just easier to do it like this. I wanted that one out over here, didn't I? I did. That's okay. Don't worry about that glue. Nobody's going to see it. It is underneath. It's going to be underneath the sentiment. And so let's put our last one on. And you can shove that up a little bit if you wanted to. You know, it's up to you. It's underneath the tulip, so nobody's going to see how much you put it up in that area. And then the last thing I did was I did a couple of flowers, or did a couple of more leaves. And as you can see, I just I wing this. I don't really have a rhyme or reason. It's just what feels good to me. And we're going to get out some, so we're going to leave that for just a second. I'm going to close my glue real fast. And we're going to get out a sentiment that came right out of this cards, out of this stamp set. And it says, let today be the start of something new. I think that's a wonderful sentiment. There's some other ones in here that are really cute. There is just thinking of you today. Thank you. You are so thoughtful, and that's in a circle. All of those are just fabulous little sayings. But we are going to do this, and we're going to do this in. It looks like I used Highland Heather. So I'm going to grab the Highland Heather. I'm going to set this aside. This is what we're stamping. The beauty of stamping on a circle is the fact that you always have it lined up. The key is just centering it at that point. It doesn't much matter because you're going to move it to line up the way you need it to line up. Okay, so there you have it. That was pretty easy, pretty quick to go. Now, with this piece of ribbon, there's sentiment and ribbon. This is all we have left to do. So I'm going to put some adhesive right here in the middle, maybe. I think so. Here we go. Here's some adhesive. I just make it all gooey. And then I'm going to set this right there. I just want to adhere it in there. And then I trim it. So we're going to trim this. You'll find that you all have enough to do this with. I never do anything exact, so that makes it so much easier. And let's see here. Okay, so our ribbon is where it needs to be. We are now going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'm very generous with them because I'm going over all this stuff. So because I'm going over all the stuff that I adhered with the flower, I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of support all the way around. And if I didn't get it exactly right, it's okay. It doesn't have to be lined up. Let me get these little things off. They're all off. Don't forget you can use your take your pick tool to take those off and everything. And I'm going to just center that right there. Press down. And the last thing we need to do at this point is do embellishments. Now, I do things in odd numbers, so I did a total of 5. You should have more than enough. I gave you extras because it was just easier to cut it up than it was to count them out and do 5 a piece. So you should have enough for all of them. And these all have little adhesives on the back of them. And I just kind of put them, you know, just here and there. And you want to just give it some variety. It gives a little bit of sparkle. The best thing about these little guys is that there really is no height to them. They're pretty flat. They should go through the mail with no issues that I've heard of. Nobody said anything about there being a problem with them mailing these yet. So that's very good to know. Let me get another one here. And we'll go there. And then we'll put another one up here somewhere. And now we are done. So that is our first card. I think it came out pretty close to the first one I did, except I used a different color for the tulip. This, I believe, is the polished pink. But either way, it's just a fun card. It's a nice card to send to somebody, lift up their day. Winters can be pretty long. A lot of people have long winters with snow and everything. We're lucky, and where we live, for some of us, it's pretty sunny most of the winter, which is very nice. But this is our last card. I want to thank you for joining me today. And we will go on to card number 2 in the next video. There are 4 videos in all, and if you're not able to attend my class, you can certainly use the videos to recreate these cards. Thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.